Live and in HD, this is ABC 7 News at 6 on your side.
Widespread destruction. The Washington area suffers a big blow from Mother Nature.
Last night's storms leading to days of cleanup. We have you covered from every part of the area because just about everyone is dealing with the aftermath of these storms in some way or another. Good evening, everyone. Glad you're joining us. And if you are watching tonight, well, you should consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, a lot of people are dealing with power outages and big cleanups on one of the hottest days of the year. Last night's line of severe storms left a mess behind what we'd usually find following a hurricane, except it all happened in about an hour's time. More than 1 million people in our area remain without power. Trees and power lines are down everywhere. A number of homes have been damaged or destroyed. Even more upsetting, at least 9 people killed in our region.
Now, we already knew that it was bad, but when the sun came up and we were able to fly News Chopper 7, we saw just how widespread the damage was. This is video from Bethesda, where trees were torn apart, many of the branches falling on homes. This scene repeated throughout the D.C. area and everywhere this storm passed through during a journey that lasted hundreds of miles.
Quite a scene in Glendale, Maryland. A transformer fire. We're told this transformer belongs to Pepco. Not exactly sure if this started because of a lightning strike or if something else hit the transformer, but this is one of many reasons why so many people do not have power this evening.
And we do want to update you on the latest power outages across our region. Now, Pepco is reporting more than 400,000 customers still in the dark at this hour. Dominion, Virginia, 372,000. In Northern Virginia, Novak, the Northern Virginia Electric Cooperative, reports more than 14,000 outages, and BGE has 405,000 customers without lights. All of the utilities are urging their customers to try and be patient. It is going to take days, perhaps even a week, to fully restore power.
All of that said, we are on storm watch tonight. There is a possibility, however slight, of more storms this evening.
Yeah, we've been talking about it throughout the day. Meteorologist Steve Rudin has been tracking the very latest from our weather center. He's watching the radar. So, Steve, what can you tell us?
And more storms are popping as we speak. Newly issued severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of the area. Take a look at our live Super Doppler radar here in the Belfort Furniture Weather Center. And you just have to head a little bit south and west of the D.C. metro to find the severe thunderstorm warnings. Right now, southeastern green, southern orange, southwestern Spotsylvania, and extreme south central Madison County under the severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45 this evening. These storms have the potential to produce gusty winds and some very heavy downpours, and they're moving toward the southeast at just around 35 miles per hour. You can see these cells really beginning to develop quite a bit, and as we pull out just a little bit more, you can see that they pretty much are comprised to a very small, or concentrated over a very small area. Should also note the immediate metro, including the district, Arlington, Alexandria, just updated. The heat advisory has now been canceled. Originally, it was set to expire at 9 o'clock this evening. Now the National Weather Service has canceled the heat advisory, and no heat advisories or warnings for the day tomorrow. Coming up in just a few minutes, we will take a look at the extended outlook. Plus, our chief meteorologist, Doug Hill, will be here, and he will update us on the severe thunderstorm warning. Right now, 6:45 for Madison, Orange counties.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. Now let's get straight to the incredible video that's coming in from all around the area. We have a lot of pictures that came into the newsroom. No area was left untouched.
Let's get things started right now. Jay Korf is live in Falls Church with a look at how widespread the storm damage was. Jay.
Well, the people who live in this Falls Church neighborhood are certainly breathing a sigh of relief. You see this huge tree that toppled. There were 2 cars parked over there at a neighbor's house. The tree did not touch the cars. And check this out. Look at this enormous tree when it came down. It just barely brushed the gutter of this home. This family were told they're in Europe, and they just got an email telling them what's going on. But I got to tell you, a lot of folks throughout the region were not as fortunate. A destructive line of thunderstorms raked over the D.C. region with remarkable force Friday night. Saturday's view from News Chopper 7 was a sobering one. Check out this Riverdale, Maryland apartment building. Its roof sheared off. You can almost see what was for dinner in the exposed kitchen. 500 residents there are now looking for a new home. The storms, packing 60 to 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts, left a trail of heartache and destruction. Up in Poolesville, Maryland, one barn was sideswiped, a second flattened. but it looks like the yellow muscle car survived. Falling trees claimed lives, crushed cars, and damaged homes throughout the region, like this one.
The entire ceiling is cracked and sagging because I think this thing hit it on the way down.
Two collegiate summer baseball teams, the Alexandria Aces and Herndon Braves, had to run for cover in the middle of their game Friday night. Part of the dugout was blown out, landing in the nearby Herndon High School football field. Several players were injured, none seriously. And with hundreds of thousands of people without power, like Kim Mitchell.
So our contingency plan is to go to a hotel.
Lines were long at Talbert's Ice in Bethesda. In fact, this truck full of ice bags is expected to sell out fast.
Maybe an hour, it all depends, and they're constantly coming.
For Jeff Carlisle, the challenge is salvaging what's in his fridge and freezer as he and so many others try to cope with no power for who knows how long.
It was about the most spectacular storm I've ever seen since I've been living in Washington 15 years.
This neighborhood is without power, and everyone is asking us when will the lights and when will the air conditioning be back on, but that's such a hard question to answer at this point. We know that utility giants like Pepco and Dominion are working around the clock to try to restore power, but it could be several days before everybody is back up and running. A part of the problem, a key part of the problem, is that a lot of those out-of-town and out-of-state crews in Ohio and Indiana that typically come in and help us out in a situation like this, they're dealing with storm damage themselves. Live in Falls Church, Jay Korf, ABC 7 News.
And Jay, we're going to continue our team coverage now with the most devastating part of these storms, the loss of life in our area.
And we now know several right here in the immediate D.C. area. So far, we've heard of deaths in Anne Arundel County and in Silver Spring, and 2 people died in the Springfield, Virginia area. That's where we start things off with ABC 7's Richard Reeve.
Well, behind me you can still see much of the wreckage here, the downed tree, the power lines. Now, for many of us, this storm has been a huge headache. Losses of property, power outages. For this family, though, it has been a tragedy. A giant tree and twisted power lines on Old Keene Mill Road near Bauer Drive marked the place where 26-year-old Kit Newen was killed Friday night.
They just told me that the tree fell on top of the car when he's on the way home from school.
Newen's wife, Tutmai Din, told us how her husband had called just minutes before the 10:30 p.m. crash. But as the weather worsened, she became fearful.
He just called me, like he said he's gonna be home in 10 minutes. And then I'm waiting for him to get home, and 20 minutes passed by and I haven't seen him.
By this time, the area had lost power. A dark, chaotic scene.
Well, actually, I thought I heard a tree crash, and then I heard the horns blow, and then I saw the traffic back up on Old King Mill.
Jerry Howard, who lives across the street, heard the sounds of trees snapping and falling, but nobody realized how bad it was.
It was a very bad storm. The trees were just bending over.
Meanwhile, Tutmai Din and her brother traced her husband's usual route from a nearby ITT Tech campus and found the wreck surrounded by police.
The detective came over and told me that my husband passed away because the tree fell on top of the car.
A night of tragedy for this family.
Sorry to hear about, that's clear. And unfortunately, dealing with Mother Nature, you never know.
Sadly, there was another storm-related death not far from here. A West Springfield woman was killed when a tree ripped into her roof and struck her while she was lying in her bed. So this has proven to be not only a dangerous storm, but a deadly one as well. In Springfield, Richard Reeve, ABC 7 News.
Quite a heartbreaking loss of life there, but we continue our team coverage of the storms from Maryland now.
Suzanne Kennedy joins us live from Kensington. Suzanne has seen plenty of widespread devastation out that way. Suzanne.
You certainly don't need to go very far on this suburban street in Kensington, Maryland, to see the impact of last night's storm. Here you can see this 2-story colonial has a giant poplar tree in the front yard. It fell from a neighboring yard when the storm hit last night. Across the street, you can see this ranch house where a tree fell on the roof. They are trying to begin the long process of taking it down and restoring things here. Devastation and loss of life throughout Montgomery County tonight is significant. A tree through the rear roof of a Silver Spring home took the life of a 71-year-old woman. The senior citizen lived here alone and was found early this morning in a second-floor bedroom. Neighbors say the intense storm was frightening.
It was the worst I can remember. We have a tree next to our bedroom, and it was banging against the house, and just things were just whirling around. It was very, very strong.
In Kensington, the cleanup on Glenridge Street started early.
This block got worse than a lot of the other blocks.
Lisa O'Neill came to check on her parents' home and could barely find the front door. The backyard was just as bad.
All of this is just completely taken out and debris throughout the entire yard. Oh, it's a mess.
A giant oak tree toppled on this Arcadia Place house in Northwest Washington. The back portion of the roof was sheared off, leaving the unattended house open to the elements.
The big fear, of course, is more thunderstorms tonight, and the house will be ruined even more.
Numerous upended, mature trees leveled cars throughout storm-affected neighborhoods. Today is a day for cleaning up and remembering the powerful summer storm.
I saw this giant lightning, and it just struck the front tree right over there. You can even see it. And you just heard a large crack, and it just fell right on our car.
The sound of chainsaws is echoing throughout this entire neighborhood. This community is without power. Many of the roads are impassable, and it will be days before things are back to normal. Reporting live tonight in Kensington, Maryland, Suzanne Kennedy, ABC 7 News.
All right, Suzanne, we're going to switch locations, but it's going to be a similar scene in the district. A big mess there to clean up. In several neighborhoods, we've learned at least one person died in the district after walking out of his home and onto a live wire.
And we're also told his wife was shocked, but she is expected to survive. Mike Kaneem joins us live from the scene with details at 31st Street and Woodland Drive. This is in Northwest Washington. Mike?
It's a tragic reminder of just how dangerous storms like this can be. A tree came crashing down across 31st Street Northwest into power lines, into the front yard, and on top of that Maserati parked in the driveway. Police and neighbors tell us the car ignited in flames, and when the male homeowner, 67-year-old Mohammed Ghafourian, rushed outside, he was electrocuted.
We've had trouble, terrible, tragic trouble on this street already.
Police believe the owner of this Northwest home might have been trying to put out a car fire, but with down power lines and his driveway soaked from rain, he was electrocuted. Police say his wife rushed out to help him. She was also shocked and taken to the hospital in critical condition. On the same block, another huge tree tumbled onto this neighbor's home. Residents here are fuming because they say for years they've been complaining about these trees, requesting their removal.
We even have a problem tonight because half the tree, if you could see, is gone already, and it needs to be removed immediately.
In Eastern Market, this oak tree demolished this Toyota Tundra pickup.
All of a sudden, I hear this incredible crash and breaking glass, and I walk into the living room, and there's this piece of tree sticking through the window.
Fortunately, no one was injured in the truck or these nearby homes, and residents hope there's no structural damage.
I haven't been able to get up on the roof yet to assess how much has been damaged up there, but there was a little bit that we can see from down here.
All day, tree trimming crews cleared debris from homes, cars, and roadways, and despite the scorching hot weather, they expect to work all weekend.
You know, we keep plenty of water and Gatorade in the trucks, but, you know, more importantly, if we start feeling bad, we got to take a break. I mean, this work is extremely dangerous. It's dangerous when it's not hot.
Like local utility companies, these tree clearing crews are urging residents to be patient because of this extreme heat and because of the overwhelming amount of work across the region. They say it could take days to clean up this mess. Reporting live in Northwest Washington, Mike Kaneem, ABC 7 News.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. And there is still a lot more to come on this special edition of ABC 7 News at 6, including the power of the dangerous lightning associated with these storms. See what it did to one home in Maryland.
Also, the storms ruining plenty of plans and events across the area. We're going to show you what happened to the Folk Life Festival at the National Mall.
And I'm Chris Van Cleve, live in the newsroom. We're taking a closer look at where the power is out and how long it may stay out. That story's coming at you next.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 6 on your side.
And we continue now with the widespread power problems across the area.
We are still looking at hundreds of thousands of people without lights and without air conditioning on this weekend of temperatures in the 90s. And it's going to be quite a while before the lights come back on for some people. Chris Van Cleve has been tracking where the power is out. He's live in the newsroom with a look at the outage maps so that you can update your loved ones. Chris.
Well, the short answer is the power is out pretty much all across our viewing area. Pick a region, you're going to find power out. More than 1 million subscribers from Baltimore down to Fredericksburg without power, a huge swath of our area. This is the Pepco outage map. All that red, all places where you see a high number of outages, more than 411,000 customers without power. Now, more than half of those are in Montgomery County, more than 223,000 subscribers in Montgomery County alone in the Pepco region without power. Just moments ago, Pepco tweeted that they are now receiving help from Florida, Georgia, Missouri, and Oklahoma. Power crews from those 4 states are on their way to our region to help out. It will take them a little bit of time to get here, but help is coming. Now, let's switch over to Dominion, Virginia. They're still at 371,000 people without power, and you can see their map, too. All those red dots up by Fredericksburg and Fairfax are a bad sign. The red dot around Charlottesville has gone away. Those numbers are slowly coming down, but they're still at over 371,000 customers. BG&E has been sitting at about 405,000 people without power most of the afternoon. That continues today. About 58,000 customers in our immediate area, in the BG&E service area, in the dark. The work continues, but it could take up to 7 days for that power to come back on. We're live in the newsroom. Chris Van Cleve, ABC 7 News.
All right, Chris, thank you. And Chris, we do want to remind people, if you know someone who is without electricity, but they still have a cell phone with a charge, well, they can get information from us right now.
Yeah, our ABC 7 News app has the most important information about the storm recovery. On the app right now, the latest power outage numbers. There are also phone numbers for the power companies, and we have a list of cooling centers if they need to get out of the heat for the evening.
Well, we can't say we didn't try as hard as possible to give people a heads up about last night's storms.
Yeah, Doug Hill was talking about it. The storm team watched the bad weather march from Chicago all the way to our area. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hill was here yesterday to watch the storms. Doug, we're hoping that we don't get any more of that stuff for a little while.
I know what you mean, Candace and Audrey. I mean, it's been really, really tough. But the storms we have now, we have them popping up, but they're southwest of the metro area, fairly far southwest as we speak. Well, let's get right into it. First, give you a shot of Annapolis. This is what the sky looks like. I mean, it's hot, it's humid, but the heat advisory has been canceled. It's a pleasant evening for the folks in Annapolis. In that particular area, no special damage reported. However, we know other areas not nearly so fortunate. This is our almanac page. Officially at Reagan National Airport this afternoon, 96 degrees, the high temperature. Yesterday, remember, we hit the record of 104 degrees. We may be back in record territory again tomorrow as we approach the 100-degree mark. Well, here are the latest temperatures as of the top of the hour. 95 still at Reagan National Airport, 90 degrees in Culpeper, 91 degrees in Frederick. There's still some moisture out there to factor in, but not nearly as humid as it's been. So heat index values now are a little more tolerable. Feels like 97 in the city, feels like 95 degrees right now. Just to the west at Dulles, feels like 98 degrees in Frederick. Meanwhile, just to the south, the temperatures set a record. Atlanta, Georgia this afternoon hit 106 degrees. It has never hit 106 in Atlanta. That reported at Atlanta's Hartsfield Airport. So crazy weather there. Those huge numbers we had yesterday have been pushed to the south. And as that happened, we got a bit of a break in the atmosphere. A little drier air, a little more stable air. That's why the storms are firing up closer to the hot and humid air. Severe thunderstorm warnings remain in effect until 6:45 for Madison, Orange, Culpeper, Spotsylvania counties. They're moving to the east, probably at about 45 miles per hour. Some hail, dangerous lightning, and downpours, but notice they are well south of the metro area, and we do not expect anything in the metro Washington area or even extended suburbs through the evening hours. Now, check out their storm scan. There are other parts of the country we're monitoring, especially north and west through areas of Ohio and Indiana, where we saw those storms yesterday, but now those storms look like they'll stay out of our area. So we'll just mention an isolated storm, especially south of the metro area overnight. Temperatures will stay toasty, 72 to 80 degrees. And then as we head through the day tomorrow, it's going to be hot again. We're going to be pushing close to 100 degrees. Humidity levels will be up a bit, and afternoon thunderstorms, especially tomorrow night and late tomorrow night, are a possibility. And we'll finish up here with a 7-day. Any relief? Well, not so much in our 7-day forecast. Just little variations, mid to upper 90s, even by the 4th of July, still in the lower 90s. That is the very latest. Autry and Kenneth, back to you.
And storms on July 4th, but not looking too badly, Doug?
No, I think we probably get the fireworks in just fine.
All right, thank you.
Doug, thanks for checking in from Calvert County. Well, this ferocious storm unleashed powerful winds and tremendous lightning. One lightning bolt struck the roof of this house on Master Road in Frederick last night. That triggered a massive house fire. Carlos Escudero and his wife were home at the time. Now, when the storm first hit, they went into their basement as a precaution. But when the storm appeared to calm down, well, they headed to bed. A short time later, their smoke alarms were going off.
There was no smoke, no fire, no nothing, but then started smelling smoke. And the smoke was coming from the hallway, the entrance. We went to the door and there was a lot of smoke coming from the roof. That's when I called 911.
Well, the strong winds helped fan the flames. The fire caused more than $500,000 in damage. Escudero and his wife were not hurt, and he credits the smoke detector for saving their lives. Up next on ABC 7 News at 6, these storms came from hundreds of miles away. We'll show you the path of destruction as they blew eastward.
And you've no doubt seen a lot of the video, but after the break, we're going to show you more of the best pictures our weather team collected during and after the storm. Some more amazing images ahead.
And we're back now with more incredible pictures showing the dangerous force of Mother Nature. Our crews in the field, as well as you, have been sending in pictures of the massive storm damage all day long.
We have our first look at some of those pictures now. ABC 7 meteorologist Eileen Whalen joins us from the Weather Center with some of those images. Eileen.
You know, it really is just unbelievable looking through the pictures, and we're so thankful and grateful to all of you for sending them in to us at eyewitness@WJLA.com. I mean, it really is just unreal, some of these pictures. So we'll start off, people, you know, kind of convening this morning, talking about, you know, all the debris and the tree limbs out there that have fallen. I mean, this Jeep pretty much covered in all the tree branches that have fallen. And you know what really shocks me is just the amount of strength from these winds that toppled down not only tree limbs on top of these cars, but massive trunks of trees that have just fallen from the sheer magnitude and strength of these winds that moved through with this line of storms. So cars, unfortunately, destroyed. More of the same in neighborhoods with tree limbs down. Some places, caution tape out there where roads are impassable. A lot of people having to use alternate routes. Not only trees down, but power lines down as well. And today, thankfully, so far, most of the region has been dry, but it's still been hot and humid as so many work tirelessly to clean up. And it's going to be a day or a few days, if not weeks, of cleanup from all of the debris here. And unfortunately, more pictures, much of the same. So it does look like it's going to stay hot and humid, and as we continue to clean up after quite a remarkable storm.
All right, Eileen Whalen, thank you there from the Weather Center. And we still have a lot more to come on this hour-long special edition of ABC 7 News at 6.
Coming up, we'll show you how the storms caused some major travel issues this morning at our area airports.
Massive power outages and significant cleanup here in Montgomery County. I'm Suzanne Kennedy. I'll have the details on that when we return.